In a village there was a woman who was a pious worshipper, who was famous for always remembering Allah. Allah had blessed her with the blessings of the world as well as the wealth of religion. By the grace of Allah, her virtuous husband died. She had only one son. This good-hearted woman also gave a good education to the boy, who was brought up with the grace of good upbringing. When the boy came to the arena of the world, his good behavior started to be discussed everywhere. People started looking at him with respect. Widows used to pray for him. Orphans used to cast their eyes at his feet. All this happened because he respected everyone. He sympathized with the poor and gave charity. Therefore, there was no one in his town who was not happy with him. The residents of his town were such virtuous people that the recitation of the Holy Quran could be heard from every house. Meetings were held in mosques to recite the Quran and remember Allah. Therefore, every house in this settlement was a model of paradise. Each person understood the grief of the other. This boy left the village and went to the city. His eyes started falling on some wicked women. Gradually his friendship started to turn from good to bad. Then he strayed from the path. On the advice of bad friends, he renounced his mother and the quiet life of the village, and settled in the atmosphere of the city. All kinds of lecherous friends began to gather around him in his camp. Those wicked friends misled him. Mother used to sit on the pillar and pray for him all the time. Sometimes he used to go from town to village to meet his mother. Gradually the time came that a cycle would take place in months. Meanwhile, he meets a wicked woman through his wicked friends. And he became so fond of this woman that he sold his father's property and spent it on her. At last the time came when the woman had never seen any sorrow in the life of her good-hearted husband. Now she started working in other people's houses. Whenever the son came to the village, the mother used to bring oil for the son. From the labor money, she would make something and leave with prayers. A long time passed, and the boy did not come to meet his mother. The mother lost her senses in the separation of her son. Whenever someone else would knock on her door, she would run towards the door and spontaneously say, "Son, you are here. Son, why did you take so long?" When she knew that a street child had knocked on the door, she would sit on the floor with her hand on her heart and started crying. While crying, the eyes of this good-hearted woman also responded. And then, when the boy had nothing left, the wicked woman consulted her friends to get rid of him. It was decided that the boy should be told, "My love will remain with you only when you take out your mother's heart." Thus, he will not fulfill the request, so it will leave the chase itself. This was the demand of this wicked woman. The man who was once an angel was now superior to Satan because of his desire, and he was ready to fulfill this request. He took the dagger and walked towards the village. After a long time, this unfortunate man reached the door, called the mother. Mother happily moved towards the door. The mother kissed her son on the mouth and hugged him. The boy took out a dagger and hit the mother on the chest. The mother's heart went out. Darkness covered the sky. Allah's throne was shaken. Angels saw the end of cruelty. A friend of the wicked came to the house of wicked prostitutes. A mother's heart was placed in front of her. This woman said, "If he can treat his mother like this, I don't know how he will treat me. So get out of here." The boy's eyes went dark, and he died there. Mother's heart dropped from his hand. The heart fell on the knife, lying in the prostitute's room. The mother's heart burst. A pained voice came from her heart. "Son, there is no pain. Mother's greatness, mother's kindness, mother's love, neglecting mother's favors, and bowing down to women. May the curse of Allah be upon you, who sees the mother with the eyes of a tyrant. Angels curse you. Curse of the prophets. Curse of all good men upon you. The curse of the jinn is upon you. Repent and take the path of goodness. Keep your head at mother's feet. And don't raise your head until she agrees. Even if you die." From this incident, we learn that Allah is disobedient, and abusers of parents will not accept any good deeds. But he should repent to Allah and treat his mother well. Always try to keep her happy, and Allah will forgive him. Because Allah's pleasure is mother's pleasure, and Allah's displeasure is mother's displeasure. May Allah grant us His pleasure and save us from His displeasure. Ameen. O Lord of the worlds,